Alright, here's another episode of 9mm+P versus 357 Magnum in short barrels. Today what I have is the Federal Tactical Law Enforcement Ammunition, the HST plus P for the 9mm. In 357 Magnum there is no HST. HST is more of a duty caliber line of ammunition with some backup calibers. So you basically have your 9mm, 40, 45. I think there may be 357 SIG. Then you have backup calibers like 380 or 38 Special, but there's nothing in 357 Magnum and the HST line. So I'm gonna have to use the HydroShock, and it's a little bit different bullet here. You know, HydroShock always has that HydroShock post in the middle. HST does not. Some people will even argue that HST means HydroShock 2 or HydroShock technology. That's yet to be determined, but I will have to use HST versus HydroShock in this particular test, but I think they're going to be pretty close. So we're going to go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time. And just a note here, this is a miniature silhouette, so my groups will look a little bit larger than what you would think they would if I was using a full-size silhouette. And then we're going to go through the Juggernaut box, which contains a 1 3/4 inch pack of bologna covered by 4 layers of denim and simulates flesh, followed by 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard that represents ribs or sternum, and into water jugs, and how this typically equals out to ballistics gel. If we got the back of the second jug, like a mark out the back, we're dealing with about 12 inches. A mark out the back of jug 4 is going to indicate about 18 inches comparison to ballistics gel. So we're looking between back of jug 2, back of jug 4 as being good performing ammunition. And in the 4-inch barrel, I only got out the back of jug 2 with the 4-inch barrel with the HST 9mm. So hoping to get a little bit more penetration with that shorter barrel. So let's get started with the test and see how these two compare. All right, we're about 5 yards from the target, about 4 yards from the chronograph. We'll start with the 9mm+P HST and see how this does. No read on that one. 1176. 1170. 1168. 1214. Wow. No read. 1176. So pretty darn impressive results for this particular load, because that doesn't seem any different than what I was getting in the 4-inch barrel. Pretty impressive. Let's see how the 357 compares. All right, 357 Magnum. We'll see how this does. A lot heavier bullet, so let's see what we get. $12.28. 11.55. 1171, 1182, 1196. So a lot of velocity and power, but it's very uncomfortable to shoot. I wouldn't want to shoot a lot of rounds of this particular ammunition through this snub nose barrel. So big difference there in a lot of different ways. Now let's hit the ballistic box and see how they compare to each other. All right, 9mm+P HST. Let's see how this does in the ballistic box. All right, good hit here. All right, I'm missing some bologna. Very good, impressive hit here. Took off the side of this pack, and the fiberboard is cracked a large hole, so that's indicating that it was expanding before it even hit this fiberboard, so that's really good. All right, the first jug, I have never seen this much damage from any 9mm I have ever tested. That is extraordinary. That is very impressive. I don't know how to describe that. We'll check out jug 2 now. Jug 2, typically we get just a hole through jug 2, but this is actually splitting outward. So that's really good. We have an impact in jug 3, that's good. No mark out the back of jug 3, so that's going to indicate anywhere between probably 13 to 14 inches of penetration, which is really good. And what we have is just absolutely perfect HST flowering. This is what we like to see. This is what it's known for, and it does it even through the fiberboard. So it's doing really, really well. Now let's see how the 357 Magnum HydroShock compares. 357 Magnum HydroShock. We'll see how it does. All right. Got a nice centered hit here. This is pretty interesting. The first half of the bologna pack, it just put a clean hole through it, and then the second half is turned into liquefied meat here. And the fiberboard has lifted up. And kind of hard to tell whether this is indicating expansion in the bologna pack or not. Little bit, but not as much as the HST. All right, first jug, it has just as good a damage as the 9mm in a little bit different way. This is actually split all the way from the cap, and the cap has been blown off. Don't typically see that. Jug 2 has a little more damage than the 9mm did on jug 2, so that's pretty good. Jug 3, pretty big hole in the front of jug 3. Went right through jug 3. And what we have is kind of cool here. Back of jug 4, it's sticking out and it damaged jug 5. So we can definitely call that almost an exactly 18 inches of penetration. And what we have here is kind of a triangular shaped bullet here. Not as large, and that would definitely indicate that we stripped off a lot of this billet. And I see that a lot of the petals, the copper petals are stripped off. There's a lot of lead missing here. Not 158 grain anymore, probably about 125. So it just basically exploded and took off a lot of that bullet. More penetration, more energy. Doesn't look as impressive in the end. So my summary of this ammunition is it's both really good. However, you know, both actually had a little bit more recoil than what is typical. In that 9mm pistol is a little bit hotter of a feel than what Gold Dot plus P was, but it was a lot lower recoil than the 357. This is almost unmanageable. You have to be pretty strong to handle this 357 load, but if you can, it's definitely going to have a lot more energy and a lot more potential. But the HST overall is probably a little bit better round in general. So if I had to pick one of these, you know, 12 plus one of those HSTs, and they did really well, versus 5 rounds of this 357, it'll do well, but I would be a little bit concerned about follow-up shots because it was quite a handful. So that's what you get today between the federal law enforcement load HST versus HydroShock 357 versus 9mm+P in short barrel. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.